Hello everybody, welcome to On the Bright Side. My name is Daniel and I'm watching Code Geass. Last time on Code Geass, there was a bit of a situation, as some may call it. You know when you're going on vacation and you get worked into a terrorist plot? Yeah, I that happens to me pretty much every weekend. Now, the last episode was pretty intense. We had Zero and Suzaku kind of like try and approach this from two different ways, but Zero ended up kind of everything working out. He saved the captives. He gave a speech and unveiled his group, the Black Knights. So how will this change things? Let's find out. If you guys enjoy my reactions to Code Geass, then you should do yourself a favor by subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single Code Geass episode going forward. Let us begin. 3, 2, 1, go! Is this new visuals? There are new visuals, okay. Oh, shit! New mechs! Oh, boy. It's weird, because, like, it's not halfway through this season, so I didn't expect new visuals. Same song, though, which is, you know, fair. Shouldn't be looking. What have you done? Damn, okay. I'm gonna find out more about her life. Uh-oh. Oh, so we're really kind of are in a new arc, are we? That's what I'm getting. Hello there! Okay. I'm busy doing, freedom fighting at night. I guess it's a less dangerous time to sleep. Oh, she's gonna think about dangerous things. Probably. What would Suzaku do? Same. Okay. We're doing things. Alright. Rude, but also funny inside joke. Oh, okay. Time and place. Good guy, Suzaku. There's a very real aspect of, like, they're just teenagers trying to have fun. And they have to deal with this world. Hello? Lesbian behavior? Nice house. Why doesn't she like the maid? A whole bunch of Uh-oh. Yeah, complicated home life is a thing. Uh-huh. Okay, I was wondering that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing for sure. Okay, so she's doing drugs.
犯罪者を取り締まりたいなら警察に入ればいいのに彼らはどうしてそうしないんだろう警察じゃできないと思ったんだろう警察なんて
Cops, am I right?
警察の中に入って変えていけばいいじゃないか変える過程で結局はいろいろなしがらみを抱えることになるそれは
Oh boy, it's getting too real.
一方通行の自己満足だよ
There's some points that Suzaku has, but I feel like he's really naive.
じゃあね時間が合えばでいいんだけど私と
あいつ軍に戻らなくちゃって言ったよな戻るそこがお前の居場所ってことか
Yeah.
ブリタニアに占領される前の日本
Yeah.
日本人を狙い撃ちにした薬だ放ってはおけないだろう
Yeah, it was introduced specifically for that, right? That's what they're getting at?
弾薬が届いたらまた連絡する
We're gonna explain the brother thing at some point.
下手に加勢してあいつらに勝ってみろあのイレブンは明日からここで商売ができなくなる疎開で働くってのはそういうことだろ
だからって
あんたらももう飽きてんだろイレブンイジムなんて
That's, I mean, when you got this power, it's crazy that, like, the only way to stop this kind of, like,
大丈夫
racist behavior is
ブリタニアの学生さん いらっしゃいませ
magical powers.
カリフォルニアドッグはいかがですか
California, dog!
ブリタニアの植民エリアに入れたおかげで軍事も経済も格段に安定した
何をしたいの
別にさっきのイレブンだって分かってるんだブリタニア人に頭を下げた方がいい暮らしができるって
かっこいいと思ってるの
I mean, it's a touchy subject. Oh, so we're finally actually really talking about this?
実は私も新宿事変の時に記憶の喪失を経験しているのです。
何
しかし調べてみる価値はあるかと。
Interesting. I'm so curious about where those characters are going. I think I said maybe they'll be on our side, but
私たちさこれでいいんだよね
I mean, it's a
毎回どんな手品使って
question to think about.
安全だよ疎開の中は
Yeah, about the safety.
大丈夫よそんな冗談じゃないぞ
Oh, hell no! Yeah, same.
日本
はい来月結婚するんです
閉店だぞ今度はパリ支店だって
Oh boy.
ほらほら走ったら危ないわよ
Your mom, yeah.
お母さん
ブリタニアにすがって男にすがって今度は薬お兄ちゃんはもういないんだよこれ以上ナイトポ
Oh
リス
boy. The police! Oh god.
彼ナオト
Now's not the time for trauma. I mean, this cop is dedicated.
いるからずっとそばにいるからカレンそばにいるからねだからあんなうちに居続けたっていうの
Yeah, she can't leave her kid, especially when her other kid seems to be dead. It's like, Nice. Oh man, right in the cockpit. That person's probably dead.
よかったねカレンお前はブリタニア人になれるんだよそうなればもう殴られることもない電話だって旅行だって自由にできるんだよ
母親
It's a tough situation. Doing all this to make sure that her daughter has a
時間が必要かと
good life, really just accepting the
判
pain.
決
It's
出たよ20年だって
jeez.
お母さんが出てくるまでには変えてみせるから頑張れ頑張れカレン私の娘頑張れ私頑張るから
All right. That was a heavy episode. That was an interesting episode in many ways. Lots of heavy topics were covered. I really love the a lot of people talk about how this anime was like one of their first animes, and it was never on my radar when I started watching anime. I'm like hundreds of anime in at this point and finally watching this show, and I'm kind of glad that I waited before, like, to have like a better understanding of like the types of issues that this anime talks about before I actually watch it and discuss it and stuff, because it approaches a lot of them very interestingly and maturely from a lot of different perspectives. In this case, the topic of this episode that was really kind of stood out to me was the idea of how the Japanese who worked like, or who lived within the system of that Britannians had set up for them, are probably happier than, you know, the ones that don't, the ones that live in the ghetto, the ones that, yeah. There is a point to that. Like, I get it, but really, like, you shouldn't... the way that I draw the line is you shouldn't have to, like, live in the system of your oppressors just so that you can live a normal life. If you know, the Britannian Empire was really so benevolent. Like, they wouldn't require anything special. They would just, like, treat the Japanese citizens as citizens. No matter how you look at it, they're at the top and they're oppressing the people at the bottom. It's just gonna work that way. And while many of them may be able to have a semblance of normal life, we see that even the Japanese who get jobs within the they might have, like, within the city, they might have a higher standard of living, sure, but they're gonna face this racial discrimination that, you know, they shouldn't have to deal with. It you know, obviously I'm speaking to, like, this is platitudes that I'm saying. Basically, racism is gonna happen. It's unavoidable. Oppression is gonna happen. And, like, no one knows how to stop it. Which is why it's so interesting that Lelouch has a superpower that could basically stop it. It's an interesting story of, like, the, like, actual injustices that people face in the world. Okay, sure. They seem so hopeless to do anything about. Like, how do we fix those? It seems like impossible at many different places. But what if we gave someone a superpower to do that? It's again, like Death Note in that way. But I did watch Death Note very early on in my anime watching career, I like to say. But I would say that Death Note is less nuanced, you know? It's more plot focused rather than theme focused, you know? This show is very theme focused. It's very good in that. Not a lot of anime do that kind of thing, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it when I see it. I think it when you do see these kinds of, like, constant themes throughout an anime, it really, like, shows that, like, a different level of writing. Not to say that, like, shows like Death Note that are just pretty purely plot aren't good. There's definitely a bit of discussion to have about Death Note, but there's a lot more discussion to have about this show. So I'm very much enjoying it, and I'm seeing why people really like it, even though I get the sense that, like, I'm not even into the parts yet that people are all like, this is why it's the best anime ever. Like, a lot of people consider that. I think this show is going to be pretty hard-pressed to get into, like, my top 10 or anything. We'll see. As it's just not, like, the type of show that I really, you know, think of, like, super highly. If you know anything about my top 10 anime, which I have listed on my anime list, it's just... They're all stuff like Violet Evergarden and Clanad and March Crimson Like a Lion. Very interpersonal stories about finding personal happiness and stuff. Perhaps, like, the one the closest to this show that I've seen is Psychopaths. I love Psychopaths. Because that has a lot to say about society and humanity and stuff. And I really vibe with the way that it gets its points across. Depending on who you ask, I would say that this is on that kind of level of like theme-based stuff, actual like moral, questioning the morals of things, and I appreciate it. So, I mean, we'll have to see how much I like this show by the end of it, but I'm very much enjoying it. Otherwise, I'm done talking about like the themes of this show and how much I like how mature it is. So let's talk about the actual plot. So we saw the Black Knights. They're basically performing small little, things that they can be capable of. I mean, they have a nightmare. They're getting support from the outside. So they're slowly going to get bigger, I feel. But right now they're basically carrying out these small little strikes. They're killing people. So it brings up the morals of that again. It's basically self-defense, and they're employed by the people that we are really trying to get at. So it's still questionable moral-wise, but I think it's interesting. And we talked a lot about Kallen this episode, which I'm a little bit late into the discussion to really be getting into her, but let's do it. She is interesting. We really found out about her background. The house where she lives with her mother, her real mother, her stepmother, and her father, who is away right now. It's a rough living situation. I can get why she was all like, she resented her mother for like not standing up for herself, but over the course of this episode, she really started to be like as someone who's working as a freedom fighter, terrorist, it's like, just stand up for yourself. But for most people, that's not really an option that they're willing to pursue in the face of oppression, as then it will, expose them in the spotlight. It will only make the oppressors come down harder. And, you need a lot of solidarity, basically, to make that work. It's a long road you have ahead of you. Like in the real world, in order to fight against this kind of oppression, it would be like decades, maybe even like hundreds of years to really fight against this kind of thing. That's why Lelouch makes it interesting. What can you make possible? But she ended up understanding her mom's position of like, she basically stuck around to make sure that she's always there for her daughter. She lives a happy life. We can't forget that these characters are teenagers, forced to carry the weight of the world sometimes, but that's kind of what it feels like being a teenager. You're all like, why have the adults kind of like made this world the way that it is for me? And you kind of resent the older generations, but her mom at least is putting in some sort of effort to make sure. And she lives in torment, and it's respectable that she is doing all this for her child, basically. It must be really hard considering the fact that the brother seems dead. I find it interesting that they named the drug refrain. I want to look up that word and the meaning of it specifically because it's interesting. It's an interesting usage. So Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines refrain as but basically, refrain is to stop yourself from doing something as an impulse, especially like if it's impulsive, which is interesting when you consider that it makes the people who take it get like a strong nostalgic sense and make them feel like they're reliving the past. I think what's trying to be said with the specific use of the word refrain is that this kind of like nostalgia and living in the past prevents you from moving forward, from doing things. So that makes the ending of this episode where Kallen is like, I'm going to do my best in the future. In the future. It makes it mean something a little bit more. I don't know if if that was intentional, but I wouldn't be surprised. The writing of this show is very good. So there is another meaning to the word refrain, which is basically like it's a line in a poem or a song that reoccurs and repeats, which may be more of the intentioned word, considering the fact that it's people repeating their past lives. So that might be the meaning that they meant. Both meanings have interesting interpretations, and I just kind of, like that. There's also just the option that Japan is just like, refrain's a cool word, so let's use it. Like, that's always an option. Otherwise, Nina, I keep bringing up her as a character because she's really in the background. She's weirdly, like, prominent. She had, like, she blushed when she thought about Yuffie. Is this a romantic feeling or admiration? Is what I'm wondering. Yeah, really interesting episode. I talked about it for a long time. Curious to see what happens in the future. If you guys liked my reaction, then you can let me know by leaving a like, and you can comment. You can tell me what you thought about this episode. A lot to discuss with this one, so let me know. And you can subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single Code Geass episode going forward. Anyway, I hope that I can make your day better, and I hope that you continue to have good days. Until next time, take it easy, everyone.